can see some wood. And if you pay attention, inside there is a small room as well. Okay, my wife asked me to build that room during the COVID time. After 1 month COVID, she said, you know what, let's see if you can build a room. Once the room was finished, you know what she told me? She said, that's very good job, that's for you, if you keep talking too much. Right? So, what we have done about 8 years ago, because we bought this farm 8 years ago, because yes, it's nice to have the wood, but we also want the chestnuts. So like these trees here, when these trees here was 2 years old, 1 inch thick, we cut it and we crafted the proper chestnut like this one here. Okay, now you can see this one here is proper chestnut trees, and you can see the way it's growing is completely different compared with the other one. Okay, now I have around 50-60 trees like this, and this year I produce 180 kilograms of proper chestnuts. Okay, my idea is when these trees become bigger and the produce will be much more, is to produce my own flour. Okay,
Your own flour?
Flour, yes, chestnut flour, to make my pizza with my flour, or bread, or pasta, whatever. We will have time to discuss it during this experience, and you will understand why I'm trying to be separate from the system. Okay, not because I don't really want to buy anything, but because I don't trust them. Okay, we will have time to discuss. Now please, let's walk down slowly. No rush, slowly. Who is the best?
Struggling with my coughing. Getting into the deep.
Somebody of you has an idea how to make wine? Bravo! That's the first step. In the past, we used to crash by foot. Nowadays, we have a tools which is down near the house. I will show you in about half an hour. But I can describe because it's very simple. Basically, it's a steel box with the gears. Okay, and to move the gear, there is a shaft and there is one wheel outside the box. So we collect the grapes, we put the grapes in this box, and we move the wheel outside. So all the gears will move like that, all the grapes will go through the gears, and everything will be crushed. Under these tools, it's open. So what we do? We put a container. So we get the grape juice and also the solid parts, which are the skin, the pits of the grapes, and the small piece of wood which keeps the grapes together. Okay. In this stage, of course, we got only the juice, and the kids can drink easily. Okay. Now, to start the fermentation, because that's what will make the grapes juice become wine, the fermentation. Okay. To start the fermentation, what we do? We keep the liquid part and the solid part in a big open barrel for about 4 to 6 days. Okay. In the beginning of these days, what we do? We add natural yeast, which will help the fermentation. Okay, and twice a day we go there and we turn everything, once in the morning, once in the evening, just to make sure the fermentation happens equally everywhere in this big barrel. Okay, after 6 days maximum, normally it's between 4 or 5, maximum 6 days, we separate the liquid part and the solid part. Okay, the liquid part, it's already ready to be to put in a barrel to complete the fermentation. The solid part will have to be processed with another tool, which is right inside the vineyard. Okay, so now please, slowly, let's walk in the vineyard. While we are walking, please, let's walk in the center. Okay, the leaves are a little bit, the weeds are a little bit short. Otherwise, one thing I like to say, this is a working farm. Okay? This experience is a truly experience walking through the farm, not really commercial experience. Okay, second and the last tools we use to make wine. Okay, I told you there we separate the liquid and the solid part. Okay, so we take all the solid part and we put inside here. Okay, when we reach about this level, the top, what we do? Heavy, full of water. So we take two of this cover. You can see this round shape here and the round shape here will allow the cover to fit on one side of that big screw. Second cover, of course, will go on the other side. Once the cover are in place, we start to screw this down. By screw this down, of course, also the cover will go down, so everything will be pressed. When we press all the all the solid part, the skin, the seeds, the pits, and the wood, which are part of the grape, all the liquid will start to come out through this gap. Okay, we have between the woods, and through this point here will be collected in a container. Now we have only liquids, correct? Only it's not really yet wine. And we start to fill up with that liquid a barrel like this one. Okay, once the barrel is completely filled up, and only when it's completely filled up, we plug it. And once it's plugged, we can preserve the wine there for 1, 2, 3, 4 years. Okay, the fermentation will be completed, and the liquid, the juice, will be wine. Okay. The problem with a barrel like this, you know what happens when we start to take out the wine. Okay, this barrel here is 1,000 liters. Let's say, for example, just to give you an idea, we take out 100 liters, more or less. So the level will be this, more or less. The wine, which will be on this level, guys, will be again in contact with the air. Okay, and since we don't add any additives, any sulfur, to preserve the wine, as soon as the wine will be in contact with the air, the fermentation will start again. Okay, and you know when the fermentation will stop? When everything will be vinegar. Okay, so to avoid the fermentation happens again, okay, so what we do, once we decide to open a barrel like that, we have to dump everything in a smaller container. Okay, normally after this barrel we use the Damigiana, which are over there, you see. That is a 54 liters Damigiana. Okay, when we open Damigiana like that, guys, the same thing. We cannot leave the Damigiana half, otherwise the fermentation will start again. So what we do, we put in a 5 liters Damigiana. Okay, when we open 5 liters, no problem. We already know when we open 5 liters Damigiana, the fermentation will never happen there. Somebody of you can guess why on 5 liters Damigiana no fermentation? And all the rest, fermentation?
I'm drinking it.
Bravo, Scott, number one. That make me thinking that you like wine. Because we drink the wine in so relative quick time that the fermentation will not have time to start it, okay? But of course, if I open 54 liters, I need at least 2 weeks, 3 weeks to drink it. And that time, after 2-3 days already is that bottle you open, today you have to drink it.
Okay.
Because otherwise, after 2 days, you can already test it different. Okay. Actually, to be honest with you, happened to me about 4 years ago. I lost 300 liters of Montepulciano wine. Thanks. Good for my employee and my family. It was me who fucked it up. So I could not complain with anybody. Now still I have a vinegar. During the lunch, if you remember me or if I remember, I will take one sample of that vinegar just to make you test. It's very strong, very, very strong. Small appetite. So, any question about the wine? No?
But what type of wine is it? Is it dry?
Montepulciano. Montepulciano red wine. All my vineyard, 95% is planted on red Montepulciano. Only one of this line, actually the one when we go out, the one on our left, that is different grapes. Those grapes are for eating. There are many different types for eating. All the rest, all red Montepulciano wine. Grapes, so we have Montepulciano wine. Okay? Now, slowly, slowly, let's walk back. Grab one small piece like this one. You can take whichever you like. Remove some of the leaves and check. Not really much today. And check the smell. Doesn't really smell now. Maybe it's my nose. Can you feel it?
I can feel it. Yeah.
No smell,
Maybe
no
my
taste.
nose. Okay, guys, take one small piece and check how strong it is.
Yeah, you can grind the leaves. If that's the
You
point.
have to grind a little bit the leaves. Here, for example,
That's it.
So I know with basil, once it flowers, the leaves change. Is it the same with the rosemary? When
No.
it's flowering, the basil becomes bitter.
when
you-
it's flame, this
yeah.
one here, you see the temperature there.
Yeah.
So this one was already start to make flowers.
Yeah. And the flowers have a smell.
Not really. Okay, guys, please walk slowly down. We're gonna have a stop around this area. Okay, just give me a second. Let me see if I can find something here. Okay, no more. So guys, I always like to stop in this area because here I had spontaneous mint. This time of the year, they're all gone. So I have to wait to the spring season. But what I always like to show to the people, like the flavor for this rosemary, which is a little bit more compared with the flavor if you buy the rosemary or the mint, which I could not make you test, in the supermarket or in whichever shop. Okay, and the main secret to make the produce like these small natural leaves much stronger, much more flavor compared with the one we buy, it's very simple. The main secret is just to leave them growing as for the normal natural process, okay, without pushing them. The same concept is for the lemon, for the mandarin over there, for the orange, apple, pear, all the fruit you can even think. Okay, why I'm saying this? Very simple. This farm is about 10 acres. Okay, in the beginning when I bought this farm 8 years ago, my main target was to produce. Okay, because of course I had to make money. I pay this property a lot of money. Okay, and of course I want to make my money back. So in that time of my life, I was a part of the system. So my idea was to produce quickly, faster, and a very big fruit. So the market was happy, and they was selling and was buying from me again. Okay. But to make that things happen, to be able to fulfill the schedule which was dictating to me by the market, I had to spray. I had to spray chemical every second day. I was outside in the farm and spray chemical. One day on the olives, one day on the figs, other day on the lemon, orange, apple, pear, everywhere. Okay. And there was plastic everywhere, especially in the winter time. The plastic on the soil keeps the soil warm, and the plastic above wherever fruit or whichever grocery I was growing, it keeps the air atmosphere warmer, so the plants were growing faster. Okay. And what's happened one day, about 4 years ago, I was with my daughter Anna, the one who was in the van with us, and we were near the cherry trees. Okay, she was 5 years ago, now she's 15, she was around 9, 8, 10 years. So of course we were near the cherry trees. The cherry were almost ready to be eaten. She picked one cherry and she was eating the cherry. Nothing wrong with that. I had to run and to shout to her to stop her, because the day before I was spraying chemical on that trees. Okay, so of course I felt very bad because we didn't take this farm is not from the family. We bought the farm because we had the idea to grow up in the nature, okay, and not be able to give one cherry to my daughter. That day it killed me, okay. So what's happened after that that day? I took about 4 or 5 days to review everything because everything was wrong. And I came up with a plan, which still nowadays it giving me some problem. Okay, so the plan was to don't spray anything anymore, and even more to don't sell anything anymore. Okay, now it's almost 4 years. Whatever is produced in the farm stays in the farm. Okay, for my guests, because whatever we're gonna offer you to drink and to eat today is everything produced in the farm. And of course, for my family. In the beginning, when I made this call, it was not easy at all, especially for my parents and my wife's parents. They say, "You're crazy. You have so many debts, and you decide to don't get the money from the farm. You're crazy or what?" I try to explain them it's not all about the money. For example, in your case, you see, we booked the experience. We were supposed to do 1 day, and then I was alone. I said, "You are alone. What? It's not the same, correct?" So we cancel. And then yesterday was for today. He said, "No, I cannot come." I said, "Don't worry, I give you all money back." Correct?
Yes, yes.
So that's the point. It's so not about the money. It's about to do what you like it. And especially for you guys. You are still young. For them, it's too late. But for you, if you really understand that if you're so lucky that you manage to do in your life what you really love, you don't work any day. You don't work any day of the life because it's passion. You just do what you like. My family don't understand yet. my father-in-law, even nowadays, when you this one, for example, is a fig trees. This one here. Of course, now there is no leaves. Actually, they already start to prepare for next year. But when it's summertime, a lot of figs are on the floor because without spraying, they are not get mature all in the same time. It takes time. One day 10, after 1 week 10 more. So it's impossible to pick all up. So some of them will fall on the floor. Also, without spraying, there will be birds, bugs eating. Okay. So I have 23 fig trees, and this one here is the one of the smallest. I produce tons of figs. Now, without the spraying, my produce, of course, is getting much less. But I always like to talk about the fig because I really calculate everything for the figs. I eat in 1 year, fresh, around between 50 to 70 kilograms. And then I offer fresh because when it's a summertime, I always offer wherever it's ready. I offer to my guests. So we used to use around little bit less than 100 kilograms for offering, and then we make a jam, less than 50 kilograms. So in total, of course, my father, everybody take. In total, I use less than 500 kilograms, and I still produce tons of figs. So if 300 kilograms will go on the floor, what's the problem? I lose money, but it's not all about the money. That's the point. But I know 100%. If I could, I can eat this piece of wood because there is no chemical. Right? That's the main point. Now, slowly, let's keep walking up. Olives, of course, in average, depends on the year. Sometimes we produce 0, like 2 years ago. So out of this, let's say 100 kilo, out of 100 kilogram of olives, only maximum 20% will be oil. All the rest will be discarded. Actually, this year, my produced percentage was even less. We were around 12%. So 100 kilogram of olives, only around 40-50 liters of oil. Okay. At the end of this small discussion which we are having here, which will last about 5 minutes, you will understand why so small percentage is oil and all the rest discarded. But let's do step by step. Can you see the green net over there? Okay. one is there, one is over there. Okay, when is the harvest time of the olives? Of course, that net will be open up, will be spread under the trees. Okay, so if we have windy night or windy day, some of the olives will fall down on the net. Okay, for me in the morning it's very simple. Okay, my smile will be very big because I go there and very easily I collect olives from the net without to work a lot. But of course, not all olives will fall down. We still have to climb inside the trees. We still have to trim the branches. You can see over there a lot of branches have been cut. Some also in my back. And we still have to pick up the olives, and we pick up all the olives by hands. Of course, not one by one. We just do like this on the trees, and the olives will fall down on the net under. Okay. Once all the olives have been picked up, of course, these tools is only for demonstration. We are not using these tools. Okay. We take the olives and put the olives here. Okay. And we start to operate the tools. To understand how these tools works, I have to tell you that here are missing two pieces of wood. One post, which is attached here and goes a couple of meters up. Another post which goes through that post, through that hole, and a couple of meters outside. Okay, and then you should have a donkey, not mine because my donkey don't want to do anything. You should have a donkey who will turn the horizontal post. So also this stone will rotate here, okay? So if I put 200-300 kilograms of olives, of course all the olives will be crushed. Now, once these tools will finish the operation, okay, the outcoming of these tools is not oil, guys. We are not gonna get any single drop of oil. And the explanation why we don't get the oil here is the same explanation why only a small percentage is oil and a big percentage will be discarded. And the explanation is basically, let me see if I can find one good, is one olives. Okay, of course this one is very old olives now, but I will try to, you can still understand. Okay, I open up these olives, okay, you can see here, this one here, you can feel it's hard. This one is the pit of the olives. Can you see?
Yes.
The fruit is just, in this case, is 1 millimeter around the pits, but because it's been dried out, normally it's a couple of millimeters. Can you see these olives? This one here is the pit. Okay. The fruit is very lit. Normally, now this one is very dry. And normally it's 2 millimeters around the pits. Okay. So when the stone will grind the seeds, which is the biggest part of the olives, okay, we're not gonna get any oil or any water, nothing. We're gonna get only dry powder. That's it. When the stone will crush the fruit, which as we said 2 millimeters around the seeds, okay, we're gonna get a few drops of oil, but also a few drops of water. Okay, so everything will be mixed together, and we're gonna end up at the end of this process having wet powder. That's it. Okay, so what do we do now? We take the wet powder and we go in that tools over there. So I need you guys please to walk 5 meters in that direction. Yes. Okay, so we take the powder, the wet powder, we take this one, which is a filter. Basically it's a filter material. We open up the filter like this and we fill up, okay, with the wet powder. Once the filter is completely filled up, it's going to be like this. We put it here, okay, then we put one more above until we reach the top. Once we are on top, we screw down, okay. Of course, once we start to screw this down, everything will be compressed, so all the liquid part, all the oil will start to come out, okay. Here, if you pay attention, there is a channel. Can you see it? There is all around, there is a channel, and here there is a drain point. So everything will be drained, the oil, the liquid part, the oil will be drained and will be collected in a container. Now, what is interesting for you to know is that the oil, right after the process, is not usable. We cannot use for cooking, we cannot use for drinking, and we cannot even use it for lubrication, okay? Because that oil will be highly contaminated with the water and with the solid part as well, okay? One more thing very nice to know is the color. The oil which comes out from here is not yellow, the normal color we used to see the oil, but it's dark green, almost brown, okay? Now, to become this oil usable, what we have to do? Nothing. We only have to wait, okay? We have to wait between 4 to 5 months maximum, 4 months more or less. In the past, they used to put the oil in this jar. Nowadays, we have a stainless steel container, okay? So we put the oil in this container and we wait 4 months, 5 months maximum. Of course, during these months, all the solid part and also the water, so everything which is contaminating the oil, since are heavier than the oil, so everything will be settled on the bottom, okay? It becomes a thick sludge, really brown like wood, like this color, very brown, not nice at all to see, okay? So what do we do? Every 20-25 days maximum, we go there and we separate this settled part from the top, okay? The top, the oil, every time we do this separation, becomes always more yellow. At the end of these 4-5 months, guys, the oil inside there will be yellow like gold, okay? In fact, I used to call my oil liquid gold, okay? Because it's very nice. If you see 1 liter, but if you see a container, we have container 500 liters container, it's amazing how nice it is to see all that oil in one place. Very nice. All right, so you have a pleasure to test the oil once we do the pizza. Okay, we'll make on the pizza same oil.
Do you still use the same machines? Even
No,
now? It
these
sounds-
two tools.
No, do you use the same mechanical process? Or
Same
do you-
process. Yeah, we are still using the same process. Yes. Yeah. This one here, it's I don't know if you guys ever heard about cold press.
Mhm.
That is one of the process to get extra virgin oil. Okay. Nowadays there are many technology which helps us. In this case, they don't really help, they kill us. Anyhow, to get more oil. One of that is the hot press. Okay, by hot press we warm up everything. We use hydraulic press, so the pressure we can make it's much more than this one. So we are able to get more oil from the solid paste, from the wet paste. Okay, but what is the other side of the medal is that the oil is not more extra virgin oil, which is not really a problem. Oh, extra virgin oil, not extra virgin, that's just a name. But in the end, what is the problem? That the quality of the oil is getting worse, basically, and we end up to be not good for our health, like everything else in the life. Okay, if we ask the nature to give us more, the nature can give us more. We can get much more from the nature, but at which price? We are killing ourselves, basically, guys. Yeah. By doing that, we don't probably. That's why the percentage we get is much less. Only between 15 to 20% maximum. Never ever over 20%. But that 20%. It's like should be. Okay.
And what type of olives? Because I just came over from Greece and they had so many different varieties of olives. So.
Bravo, good questions. Here in the farm, first the big division between the olives trees are the olives the one we can eat and the olives that we can make oil. Okay, here in the property I have only 3 olives trees, the one which I can eat. Okay, and those olives are not really good. If I want to make oil, okay, for the characteristic, okay, the olives trees to make oil, here in the farm there are over 7 different varieties, okay. The biggest one is called Lecchino, over 400. Lecchino is a type, we are now going too deeply for you, but the good question, that's why I want to answer, is the point, you know what is? The oil comes out from this farm is unique. because I have so many. Of course, also the olive which comes another farm is not similar to this one. They are all unique because there are so many different variety of olives. If you mix together, you have this taste. Okay. Same somebody else. I'm not saying I'm doing the best ever. Of course, not. So, but all those quality together, they give you one product which you cannot really find anywhere else. Okay, we are all unique, like us. I cannot find one more like me. Thanks God. Like my wife would have said. Now, please, slowly. Let's work now. Milk to coagulate. Okay, because in fact, and you will see in a few seconds, to make a cheese you need to coagulate the milk. Now, to help us to coagulate the milk, we use one enzyme, natural enzyme, which is called rennet. Okay, we normally buy. We can buy only this rennet in pharmacy. Okay, it's a liquid. Now, just to give you an idea, 1 liter of milk, we add 1 teaspoon of rennet. Okay, we heat the milk up to 35 Celsius degrees, and we wait. In case of the caciotta, we wait 20 minutes only. Okay, the milk will coagulate, and we're gonna end up having this soft mousse. Okay. Now we put the mousse in this basket, which we call fustella in Italiano. You can see here there are a lot of cuts. Can you see? All those cuts will allow the milk to come out when Lia is pressing. Okay, very nice. Now, in a few seconds, Lia will feel that the caciotta inside there it's almost dry. Or at least even better, is dry enough to be able to turn it. Okay.
Voila.
The
Ready.
caciotta is already ready.
Okay.
Okay. So what we do, Lia will put now back in here because you can see it's still wet. We put on a dish here. It will keep. You see, keep draining. In about 40 minutes, when we sit and having the lunch together, that will be dry enough to also eat. Okay, we're gonna offer you this in a few minutes. Okay, so she will prepare 4 or 5, enough for us to have later. Of course, today we're gonna offer you the very simple like it is, but there are also different variety. Somebody put, for example, the chiller on top. Okay, chili. Pepper. No, somebody pepper. Somebody put some tomato also inside. And there are very many different varieties. Also, this one here, of course, is super fresh. But if we hang the basket like it is, we hang in a proper place, which is not this one because it's too hot in the summer. Basically, it's a same place where we store the wine underground, a very fresh and very ventilated place. We can preserve this caciotta for about 3-4 months. Okay, the caciotta will be harder, the color will change from white to yellow, and we use the caciotta like parmesan. We just grate on the pasta. It's also very nice. Okay.
Voila.
Is the milk from the
Cow.
cow?
Good question, because I was going to tell you before when we were having that discussion, but I forgot. I'm going to tell you now. Good question, because that milk is not coming from this farm, but from my neighbor farm. I give him some of my produce, and in exchange give me the milk almost every day.
Barter
Okay.
system,
Huh?
like a barter system.
Yes, and that is the best.
Yeah.
Same like, to be honest, the choice to don't sell anything anymore. That was one of the best choices ever of my life, because I am much more lighter. I don't have any stress. Now I am really peace and love. That's it. Right, guys, now we start the explanation of mozzarella. You saw how simple was the caciotta? This one here is much more complicated. Okay, I am able to do the caciotta. I am not able to do this one. Okay, my wife is able to do.
Yes.
That's why I married my wife.
Thank you.
Apart because I love too much. All right, so to make mozzarella, we need the same ingredient we just used for the caciotta. So just for easy math, 1 liter of milk, 1 teaspoon of rennet. We heat everything up to 35 Celsius degrees, but instead of waiting 20 minutes only and having that soft mousse, we have to wait here 7-8 hours. Okay, and of course we're gonna end up having this solid block of cheese, which we call in this stage, we call pasta filata or stretched paste in English. Okay, now somebody of you can say, hey, this one here is already mozzarella. This guy is cheating us. Well, it's not mozzarella, and I'm gonna explain you why. First of all, I like you to see the section view of this stretched paste. If you come closer, you can see there are very small air bubbles inside. Okay, even though there are so many air bubbles, the consistency of this cheese is quite hard. If I press it, you can see quite hard. It's quite hard cheese. Okay, in a few minutes you will have in your hands a small bocconcino, a small piece of mozzarella. If you see the section view, you can see the cheese is very well compact. But even though it's so compact, the mozzarella is soft like a pillow, very soft. Okay, and one last thing to make you trust me, we will let you test this one more small piece of this stretched paste. Okay, please go for it. Don't worry. Now, when you test this piece of mozzarella, this piece of stretched cheese, you will see the test. It's not really pleasant. Okay, go for it. Unless you don't like it. Small piece. Just give a bite. Now you can feel, I bet you felt sour taste.
No problem.
Even acid, at a certain point is also acid. Okay? That's completely normal because the cheese in this stage, it's poison. You're gonna die in about 20 minutes. Of course I'm joking. No, but of course if you want to buy the cheese in this stage, you cannot buy because the test is not pleasant. But I always like to let the people test because I want you guys to understand step by step each process. Now, to make this stretched paste become mozzarella, we have to add hot boiling water. Okay, you can see the water is still steaming. When Anna is pouring the water, please pay attention to the color of the water. Crystalline clear water, correct? All right. Guys, you can see already now that the water, which was crystalline clear, already start to become white. Okay? At the end of this process, guys, the water inside this bowl will be white like milk. Okay? And we will discuss about the water at the end of the process. Okay? Now, we want you to pay attention to few items which are the most important. Okay? First, the water we already discussed. Second, the consistency of the cheese. You remember all those very small air bubbles? If you pay attention when Leah is pressing against the bowl, those air bubbles already start to get enclosed. Second thing we want you to pay attention is the consistency. You remember before it was quite hard. Now you can already see it's getting much softer. Okay. One last thing we want you to pay attention is the reason why we call this stretched cheese. Okay, very simple. Because if we leave
That's pizza cheese.
the hot of the water, we start to be able to stretch the cheese. Okay. Okay. Now what Leah has to do is the key point of the process. You can see she's first putting the cheese inside the hot boiling water. Then she's folding it and pressing. Okay, when Leah is pressing, you can see, of course, the hot water will go out. First it will go in and then it will go out. When the hot water will go out, guys, you remember the sour test also will go out. All the fat of the milk will go out together with the sour test you felt before. Okay, the end result is gonna be very soft and very tasty piece of cheese. Okay, we did nothing else, only put hot water and of course manipulation. Okay, now
So now the water is acidic.
the water.
Yeah.
Wait, we will discuss about the water in a few minutes. But yes, what do we do now? Leah will prepare for us a few different shapes of mozzarella. The first one, as I told you before, is called bocconcino. We call this a bocconcino. You can see how nice it is, a very small ball. We call it bocconcino because we eat in two bites, in one bite, one boccone. Okay, that's why we call it bocconcino, because in Italiano, bite is a boccone. Small bite, bocconcino. But today, for this experience, we're gonna ask you to eat in two bites. Not because we are crazy, even though my wife is,
Yes.
but because, as I told you, we want you to go through the process of mozzarella in each single step. Okay? So the mozzarella right now is 95% completed. One thing is missing, and it is salt. Okay? To complete the process of mozzarella, we have to add the salt. So I told you we're gonna let you test we're gonna ask you to test this mozzarella in two bites. First bite right after this cold water. And before you give the second bite, you will have to add the salt like this, if you are able. Okay? You add the salt like that, okay? Normally, okay, we start with you. This corner, take one toothpick. Thank you. Ok, one for you. Ah, ok. Ah, sta pure là. Ok, guarda. So grab one bocconcino and you can see how soft it is. You can see there is no air bubble at all here. And you can give one bite. The only one thing I have to ask you, since it's very soft, small bite, please. Small bite because it's a little bit chewy. So fresh that it's chewy. Now, before you give the second bite,
Sanno tovaglioli?
add some salt.
No, beh,
And go for the second bite. It might be we want to add a lot of salt. With the salt, can you feel the difference? Il sale è tutto inghiummato, non scende proprio.
Io ho messo pure l'uovo.
Infatti.
Humidity.
Let's see it.
Yeah.
See it, it's not gonna-
And just
Okay. You see it's not going right.
flash.
All right, but you're moving away like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's coming.
By the time you buy it in the store,
Esatto.
isn't quite as cheap.
Solo scivolo.
If you get it.
Oh, you get these in,
Yeah.
in the bottle.
Tovaglioli ci stanno. Ah, ok. Wow.
No more salt. It's better with the salt.
Have you seen the difference with the salt and without salt?
Yep.
Eh? Of course, when we do the cheese for ourselves, guys, we are not gonna add the salt like this. It's gonna be crazy so much. Especially when we do like this, the salt will be only outside. Inside it will be not salty. So how do we do normally? We highly concentrate this cold water with the salt. Just to give you an idea, 1 liter of water, 600 grams of salt. Very salty. So when we take the bocconcino, that's the sides we offered you, it has to stay inside only 3 minutes, even less, between 2 to 3 minutes maximum. By osmosis process, of course, all the salt will be taken in the bocconcino in a way to balance the system. Okay. Today, for this experience, this water is only cold water. The purpose of this water just to bring down the temperature of the cheese. Okay. All right. So next one, what Leah is gonna do, it's a characteristic shape of cheese, different. Here in Sorrento, ciao Tony. Here in Sorrento we call tortaniello. In the farm, since I have one wife, 2 daughters already, and one more daughter is coming, so I'm fucked. They used to call this Francesco neck.
Yes.
Eh?
Sugar.
But look how beautiful this mozzarella.
Like a pretzel.
Bravissima, all is around. Beautiful. Super fresh. Let's put here. Let's put
Yes.
cool down, but
Say cool.
amazing. Are we gonna offer you this later when we're gonna have the lunch here, right? In our house. Guys, very nice to know for your knowledge. Water. You remember in the beginning I told you this water is gonna be white like a milk? Here we are. Look how white it is. Almost like a milk. Why I'm mentioning this water? Very simple. If I take this water, I put in a bowl which I can put on the fire. If I put this on the fire, it's gonna crack. Okay. So if we boil again this water, you know what we're gonna get? We're gonna get ricotta. Okay. Ricotta is a type of cheese. If I translate the word ricotta in English, will be recooked. Okay. In fact, if I recook again this water, only a few minutes, guys, the ricotta will start to pop up. I go there with a spoon like this, and I take out, see, piece of ricotta exactly like this. Okay. Of course, the water which will be left over from the ricotta process, what we do? We put on the side, we let cool down, and we give to the animals. The pig, the dog, the cat, which you are following. If I leave this here, 2 minutes the cat will be here and will be drinking everything. Alright? So we don't, the point here, why we are saying that, the point here is just to let you know, the small farm like mine, we are zero waste. We start from the nature, we go back with the nature, we don't throw away anything. Okay? In the worst scenario, like for the vigna, for the wine, we have all those solid parts left over. What we do? We put back on the soil as a fertilizant. Okay? Really zero waste. Any questions? Perfetto, guys. Now you will have to follow Anna, and she will show you. She will guide you because you have to do also. She will guide you to make a pizza dough.
Vieni con me, no? Vieni con me, no?
Let's move on the other side. Bravissima. One more time. Ready, Charlie? Beautiful. Okay, almost there. Now put it down. Let me see if I can help. Can I help you guys? Can I try to make it a little bit big? Angela will help you there. I will help you. And see, spin up and go back out. All right, ready to go. Okay, now what we do? We take a half a spoon of tomato, only half. Half a spoon of tomato is for you, Charlie. Thank you. Ah, no, il genitore. I'm the same thing. Put everything in the side. Put everything in the side. Bravissimo. Bravo Charlie. With the back side, spread everything around. Until half inch from the board. Try to don't go outside. Bravo, 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 bravo. A little bit more.
You grow your own tomatoes.
You have put it. No, you have this one. Bravissimo. Can you smell it? This is tomato. This one is this year or last year one?
This year.
This one is this year. Okay, so this one is only a few months old. Ok, bravissima. Put it, give it to me. Brava.
What do you put in the sauce?
Now, grab some cheese and spread it all around. Onion and tomato, guys. Bravissimo. Oh, look at this. Very confident. Brava. More. Grab more. Bravissimi. Try to spread. You see here you have some garlic. Here, there. Oh, the basil. After. It's ready. No. We already have some basil on the tomatoes. Okay. Charlie, oil. Now, a little bit of oil like this. Only on the pizza, not on the board. Unless you want to eat the board. Okay? For you. Bravissima, look at you. Amazing. Okay, now, let's remove this one here. You ready?
Yes, ready.
Go near where my wife will show you. Please.
Charlie.
Bravo. Now, hold it here. One hand here. Papi, can you come
Yes.
here?
Voila. Look, Papi.
And look, Papi, for the photo. Now, we will put the pizza inside. So let's take out.
Okay.
Okay. Pizza is ready. Now for you.
So that? Voila, brava.
Same for you.
Okay.
Bravissima. Look at Papi.
Okay.
Come together. Yes.
Perfect.
Okay. Now.
Perfecto. Okay.
Here they are all friendly. The only one who is not friendly is my wife. Vieni. Come on, 1 meter.
She wants to know, do you have anything for her? Treats. Treats.
Come on. No, you will eat my fruit. This one is the best. I love the donkey. When I go inside, I used to hug him. But now it's everything so wet. Let's go. They don't want to come. They're like that.